What's going on, folks? Your boy again, Dr. Sean Thomas, back in the building with the Be More Today show. We are back in the building, episode 123. If you believe it or not, 123 episodes. So many people have been on the show, inspiring you to be more today and continue to take your steps to be great in all that you do. So again, I thank you for your love and support. You already know, BeMoreToday.com for my book on Amazon, our Morse merch store is always out there with your greatest latest apparel for Be More Today gear. And if you're looking for a running coach, I'm your guy. So info me at info@BeMoreToday.com. The podcast is growing, 78 countries, over 45,000 downloads. It's thanks to your love and support that we're still here, still doing this thing. So please like and subscribe us on YouTube, on our Instagram pages, Be More Today Show, Be More Today PT, and of course me, Dr. Sean Thomas, or Dr. Sean Thomas, that's right. Check us out. We are still doing great things for you. And it's good just to see positive things out there on all the medias. And this month, we're closing out Occupational Therapy Appreciation Month. We've had a number of OTs on the show, showcasing their vast array of talents and skill sets. And today is no different. Our quote for today is simple as always. Medicine adds days to life. Occupational therapy adds life to days. And our guest on the show today is Sally Lachman. Now, Sally has been an occupational therapist for 11 years. In 2017, she became a certified lymphedema specialist or lymphedema therapist, but treated a mixture of neurological and orthopedic diagnoses. Throughout her career, she always tried to find jobs in hand clinics or outpatient clinics to gain experience. Around 3 years ago, she decided that she wanted more out of her career and set a plan to become a certified hand therapist. She also wanted to start moving up in the career ladder into management and supervisory roles. So an opportunity presented itself, and she enrolled at LIU for the MBA Healthcare Administration program. Through 2.5 years of being in the program, she also sought out mentors from the American Society of Hand Therapists to study and specialize in the upper extremity. She graduated with her MBA in May of 2022 and passed her certification exam, becoming a certified hand therapist in December of 2022. And she is our final OT guest for this month of Occupational Therapy Appreciation. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, pets included, please welcome to the stage our final guest for OT month, Sally Lachman. Sally, what is going on?
Hi, Sean. Thank you so much. Nothing really. I guess like I said before, save the best for last.
That's right. Save the best for last.
But yes, but OT is a wonderful thing. So I'm happy to sit here with you and talk about occupational therapy.
Awesome. I appreciate you making the time. Let listeners know where you are right now so we can just get a visual of what state and area you work in.
I am the Associate Director of Occupational Therapy, and I currently work in JAG 1's Hawthorne location, which is located in Westchester County, New York.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And this show has been a lifeline for many, just really showcasing the greatness of healthcare professionals, including you and others. And I'm welcoming you to the show. And as we conclude OT month, we've really been highlighting the great things that JAG 1 is doing when it comes to occupational therapy. And the great thing about, I think, our company in general is that we're so vast. I mean, there's so many people who have so many skill sets from OT to PT. We had our ATs on for the month of March, and we'll bring our PTs back on for probably the month of October. But we've just been looking at all the different locations and all the different skill sets that our company has. And when I look at you, lymphedema is a very specific thing. I mean, we get a number of scripts at our office saying, look, I'm coming to PT for lymphedema. And a lot of people sometimes get flustered when they see that on a prescription, not knowing really what to do. So I'm curious, Sally, what sparked for you the interest to study or specialize in lymphedema?
Honestly, my love of wounds is what sparked the interest. I was always fascinated with our lectures on wounds when I was in OT school. So we would discuss case studies, and then one day the professor was talking about a patient that had a chronic debilitating disorder that had affected her lymphatic system. So I was interested, and I started looking into lymphedema and the many potential causes of it. And I was just intrigued, and I wanted to learn more. I knew I had to get training and try to help these people as best I could. When I was working as a therapist, for a few years. In the facility I was working, we had OTs and PTs that were certified lymphedema therapists. So when I had free time, I'd go talk to them and see what they would do. And I knew that I wanted to go for training. So when I was able to fit that in my schedule, I registered for the training, signed up, and here I am.
That's awesome. Do you mind just describing to some of the listeners what lymphedema is, or I guess what you really look at when you're talking about clients who fall into this category? I think a lot of people get caught up in a number of different terms. And lymphedema is not one of the current ones, one of the popular ones that people are talking about. So you mind just sharing with them what that actually is and what it presents itself like, or what you see when you see someone who has anything related to lymphedema?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the one thing is people think it's just like a water buildup or swelling because of water, and it's not. It's due to protein buildup within proteins, bacteria within the lymphatic system. I mean, lymphedema occurs because there's a blocking or a dysfunction in the lymphatic system, and that causes a buildup of the lymph fluid in the tissues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get caught up in a number of terms when it comes to lymphedema, talk about swelling their legs and being on water pills and
Right.
all other things. And then they talk about other things like diabetic neuropathy. And, there's similarities between all those things, but there is a very specific skill set and study when it comes to the resolution to lymph in the body.
Right.
And,
Right.
I'm curious for you, what some of the cases, the causes may be when we talk about lymphedema, because I think a lot of people get concerned when they think about swelling in their legs, especially when you get into certain populations with certain diagnoses or certain genetic predispositions. What are some of the top 2 or 3 causes that may have someone result in having lymphedema in their systems?
All right. Well, there's actually 2 types of lymphedema. We have primary and secondary lymphedema. In some cases, lymphedema can be caused by genetic factors or mutations that affect the development and the function of the lymphatic system. And this can be present at birth or can develop later on in life. A lot of times, when a person hits puberty, it might start to present themselves. But that's primary lymphedema. Secondary lymphedema, there's a couple of causes for that. Infections such as cellulitis, lymphangitis, those can cause inflammation and damage to the lymphatic system. In tropical, or subtropical regions, there's something called filariasis, which is a mosquito-borne parasite, and that is a leading cause in these areas for lymphedema. Cancer treatment, surgeries, lymph node removals, there's radiation therapy, chemotherapy. These all can damage the system and disrupt the flow, damaging the nodes and the vessels, which are the extreme important structures in the system to help with lymphatic flow.
Gotcha. So with all those things, right, you mentioned a lot, and I think a lot of people fall into a lot of those categories, right? How can OT help to resolve or to help someone who has any issue when it comes to lymphedema?
Well, there's many ways. Unfortunately, lymphedema, there is no cure for it. All right, but occupational therapy can help by providing education about the condition and strategies for managing their symptoms, reducing the risk of infection, and preventing further damage to the whole system. OT can design an exercise program, and we tailor that to the individual's specific needs and their abilities. It's important to exercise because it promotes lymphatic flow and reduces swelling. And you can have lymphedema in one limb, and some people can have it in both limbs. We can help a person develop coping strategies. This helps manage any physical, emotional, or social aspects that they may be dealing with.
Yeah.
We can provide strategies or modifications to making any dressing, bathing, or grooming activities less taxing for them. And very importantly, we can help to choose, fit, and educate how to use the compression bandages and garments effectively to reduce the swelling, improve lymphatic flow, and keep that volume at a bare minimum.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. And you're saying with all these different techniques, right, and strategies, that there's no real cure for lymphedema, but you can help to mitigate at least the signs and symptoms of it, correct?
Right, right. The key thing is prevention. When I first got my certification, I was lucky enough to do in-services for doctors, and it's just really important that we look for the signs. There's different stages. You know, stage 0 is ideally where we want them to stay and remain,
Mm,
where it's just that heaviness, maybe slight difference in volume in the limb, but um, it's prevention is key, if we can, as best as possible. We try, people out there that work with lymphedema, really try to get that knowledge out there, because that's what's key.
yeah. So I'm a patient, right? And I'm listening to the podcast, I'm talking to you, or I'm maybe going to OTPT with something totally different. And my doctor may tell me that I have lymphedema, but I would not have known, or I might not have seen the signs. What are some of the signs that people should be looking for when you're talking about signs of the incidence of lymphedema maybe being in their system, or the beginning stages of that happening?
Well, usually people will come in and just say, "Oh, I noticed my arm feels a little extra heavy, or my leg feels heavy, and my clothes don't fit quite right, or my skin feels tight. I try to reach for something and I feel this pulling in my armpit." Those are all things that I'm listening for. Sometimes, a lot of times, people with lymphedema complain of pain, and that's usually because of the pressure on the joints. I
Right.
mean, pain, it can develop from that. But those are the signs that we're listening for, especially at that stage 0, starting to stage 1.
Mm,
When they come into your office and you have this swollen limb, it's a little more obvious. You look at the skin changes, the different types of edema that they present with, and really make a educated, not really guess, but I really try to get their whole background, and make the calls for the doctors. If they don't know about lymphedema, I ask and inform and get them to the doctor. And if they do, then we try to get therapy in as much as you can.
yeah.
So there are actually some ways to reduce the risk or prevent its progression. Maintaining a healthy weight is really key. Excess weight puts additional pressure on the system, and it can increase your risk to develop lymphedema.
Mm,
Practicing good hygiene, especially when you have an injury occurring, or that has occurred, can help reduce the risk of developing an infection. Keeping the skin clean and moisturized reduces chances of infection, and that in turn reduces chances of developing lymphedema.
mm,
If you already know you have lymphedema, trying to avoid instances where the skin can get cut or infected would help. So, for example, spring is here, gardening, wear gloves, protect those hands. If you're a worker, a manual worker, which you should be wearing gloves anyway, but really make sure that those gloves are clean and protecting your skin. If there are cuts, you replace them. Getting a pedicure or a manicure, it's great to treat yourself, but you really need to be careful. Uh, we recommend avoiding actually using those tubs, those seats where people's feet are, bacteria can lurk. If you go to a place where you really trust that they're cleaning with good disinfectant products, okay, maybe that'll be okay, but you want to make sure you're using your own personal tools and no one else's, to really reduce the risk.
mm.
Education on wound healing and massage to promote flow of fluid after any major surgery really can help reduce the risk of overloading the system and causing a malfunction. And of course, elevating the limb and wearing your compression garments, if you know or are diagnosed with lymphedema, will reduce the incidence of the swelling.
Hmm. Those are all great too. I just got my first pedicure actually last month. Not gonna lie to you. I was on a cruise
Mhm.
and my wife was like, "Yeah, it's time." Yeah, yeah. I mean, what are you doing? So it was my birthday, so I went and got it, and it was a great experience. But you talking about the tubs made me think. I mean, I guess the environment and the place that you go to does matter clearly in terms of cleanliness and the hygiene that they're using. And those can vary, right? I mean, the cruise ships are very pristine, so it's a little different. But there's so many places that are I'm sure also in Jersey, I'm in Brooklyn, a lot of storefronts, right? But you walk in and you get your toes done, and who knows the number of people who are going into those places on a regular basis and how clean they are between patients. And those are all things that I think people don't think about. But if
Right.
you have lymphedema, yeah, that's something you got to clearly take into consideration. So those are things that I thank you for sharing. I'm curious now. I've been asking every OT on the show about the mental health component, and OTs focus a little more, I think, than other professions in terms of the mental health component to the healing process. We all learn about mental health and how the psychosocial element can be beneficial to the healing process from all spectrums of the healthcare system. But I think OTs focus on it a little more. And I was curious, since you do deal with so many patients who do have to deal with lymphedema, and that can be such a traumatizing experience in terms of their walking, in terms of gait, in terms of their perception, in terms of their appearance. What are some of the things that you share with your patients, or what are some of your teaching techniques to give someone more confidence when they're going through the healing process and the therapy process of getting back to any kind of back to health, back to quality of life status for them with lymphedema?
Well, well, being a person that loves people, I'm just a social butterfly, I feel, and I love to talk, but I really try as best I can to make their sessions about them. If they're not really open and sharing, I really just try to get them to talk about what they're feeling, what they like, what they don't like, um, just so that I can get an understanding of who they are as an individual and be there for them. Really, it's like just looking back to as we've grown up, like what makes you a good person and having that empathy and that even a little bit of humility, like just being real, honestly. And I know it sounds cheesy, but I go in there with my skills, and of course I'm going to provide that, but I'm going to be there for them and listen. If they tell me, I don't really like this, or can we try that, or I make sure I ask them what's important to them. Okay, you're coming to me to help you reduce the volume of your life. Why? What is it that you want to do? All right, you don't really want to exercise. Well, how can I get you going in life and getting that physical exercise without making it like going to the gym and doing physical exercises?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's great about OT. It's really any activity. If you love cleaning your house, well, guess what? That is a lot of physical activity. And I use that one because it's a little easy, but just to get up out of bed, get out of your chair, socialize, interact with the world, and really make it about them and see what they want. And I try as best I can to, if I don't know any activities, I investigate. I look and try to be creative, and as discreetly as I can, I go to my team, my other coworkers, and say, hey, do you have any ideas of what I can do with this patient? And I try to just really make it as personal as I can.
You're the third, well, this is the third show. So we had a number of OTs on the first show, but this is the third show where the OTs mentioned do what's best for them and what they want to get back to. And I think that's poignant, because I think a lot of times we as clinicians sometimes focus on what we want to get done, what our goals are for the patient. Well, I need you to get to this range of motion and be able to do this functionally, or what have you. But it really comes down to what the patient wants to get back to. I think we have this slogan, get back to the life that you love. What do you love getting back to doing? Is it gardening? Is it running? Is it jogging? Is it, basketball, even whatever it's going to be? Get back to that. And how can we as clinicians help you to do that? I think the best clinicians, I'm sure you agree with me, just based on your response, are the ones who can interact with people and connect with them to the extent where they're sharing with you what they want to do. And then you as a clinician are helping them do whatever you have to do to get that done. And I think there's a skill set with there. I think a lot of people can learn anything about PT and OT, and you can go to school and pass all the tests, but that connection to get someone to be able to get back to what they want to do, and you inspiring them to do that on a regular basis. Because again, this is not like a one-time deal. Like, I got my pedicure one time. That was a one-time thing. And I know I'm gonna go. I said I'm gonna go monthly, so I'm gonna go next month, right? But that process is something that happens literally twice a week, 3 days a week, and you're continuously inspiring that person every time they see you to have that same mindset. I think the great therapists, OTs, PTs, ATs, are the ones who can do that and do it well with their clients. And I think the ones who struggle are the ones who have a hard time stepping outside of themselves and really seeing that it's never really about us. It's really about the patient and getting them to be wherever they want to be, back to doing that thing freely and happily. And, Sally, I haven't met you in person, but just talking to you, I get that same sense that you agree with what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I'll make a really short little story, but I was fortunate enough really early in my career to just be surrounded by great people, like team members. And I remember when I first started working, I worked in a skilled nursing facility. And one of my very first patients was pretty tough. He didn't want to do anything. I couldn't get him to the gym. I couldn't let him allow me in his room. I'm like, buddy, you're killing me here. I need to give you therapy. And he's like, I just want to sit outside. I just want to sit outside. Well, finally, one day I was a little tired. I said, let's go sit outside. And I was talking to him and what do you want to do? And he's just like, I miss playing cards with my buddies. So I went and got a deck of cards. We played. Before I knew it, the 45 minutes was up and I had to really go grab another patient. And my supervisor was like, where were you? So I said, oh, I feel like I failed. I didn't get anything done. I took out, my patient. I took him out to the garden. All we did was play cards. And he's smiling at me. And I'm like, what are you smiling at? And my supervisor was like, that's quality of care. You spent your time with your patient. You made a connection. And I guarantee you he'll be in the gym before you know it. And you know what? The next day, with a little bit of persuading, he agreed to work out with me for about 20 minutes in that gym. And it was like, oh man. So I knew from the very beginning it's quality of care and who cares what I have to do and what note I have to write. Spend time with that patient. You'll get that note done because you're going to show all those other people that need to know what we're doing, just how much you're making a difference and helping them. So,
Yeah, I completely
all right, I
agree
just
with
thought I'd
you.
share that.
No, I'm glad you share that. I think it's true. I think a lot of people get caught up, and I think a lot of new clinicians, you and I have been treating for about the same length of time, but a lot of new clinicians get caught up in the task list, right? They're going through their task list of what they have to do every single day. I got to get this note done. I have to send this paperwork out. I have to do this thing. I have to see table 7, whatever it is. And sometimes the essence of the quality of care gets lost. And I'm not saying that, at JAG, I'm just saying that as clinicians in general, the overall scope of healthcare in America, right? Or in the world, there's this push now for us to, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. And I think that sometimes we as clinicians, especially newer clinicians, get caught up in that same rat race where we lose sight of the people, we lose sight of the patient. And the patients who get mad or send bad reviews or the ones who don't come back are the ones who usually complain about the lack of that they didn't get that.
Right.
And it's not always about even like the skill set, not even about like us not knowing certain things. It's sometimes just not listening to what they're trying to say or not being like you mentioned, or you showing your patient, he mentioned cards. You listen to that and you respond in a way that let him know you're listening. But sometimes that's shared and people say, all right, well, I guess we'll try to do exercises next week. And that's the response. When in actuality, the response should have been exactly what you did. So I think sometimes we as healthcare professionals get lost in the same rat race of just trying to do whatever is necessary, losing sight of the fact that we all got into this because we like people. We care for people. We want them to get better. And our quality of care should never be sacrificed for quantity of anything. So that brings me to my next question for you, because I know you've done a number of certifications and the CHT and now the MBA. And I'm curious, have you found these degrees, certifications helpful in your career journey? And if so, do you think they're necessary to gain more managerial, supervisory roles? I'm saying this more for others who are also thinking about going that same path. I have a number of people who listen to the show who are trying to figure out where in the healthcare spectrum they want to fall. And for some, it's as simple as, yeah, let me just get a graduate degree of some sort. But for others, they go like you, they go to the MBA and other routes. And I'm curious, has it been helpful? Have you seen a difference? Do you feel like you're in a different category now to see things differently? And if so, how?
Well, I definitely think it makes a difference. For me, I'm a person that I love education and I just want to learn and just better myself because I feel like, I can only work on myself, right? I can't change anybody or work on anybody else. But if I can better myself, I can bring that to everybody else's life that I touch. I know it sounds corny, but I really believe that. And becoming a certified hand therapist was really a wonderful personal journey for myself. It's an achievement I wanted, and I was determined to do it. The process of becoming a certified hand therapist involves a rigorous certification exam of anatomy, physiology, evaluation, and treatment. And it really demonstrates a high level of expertise and knowledge. So gaining a deeper understanding of this intricate field has improved my own skills in providing specialized care for my patients. And it provides me the ability to teach others. Education and mentorship is so important in supervisory and managerial positions. And I absolutely believe anyone in this role or in these roles should have a deeper knowledge of the field or position they're in. Because how are we going to help others do what they need to do and grow in their profession if we don't really have that knowledge? Mm. And obtaining my MBA has provided me with a solid foundation in business skills that I really didn't have before, like accounting, finance management, and even marketing and operations. These skills are applicable to the healthcare industry because effective management of resources is critical to developing high quality of care. My MBA has helped me develop my leadership skills to manage and organize teams, make strategic decisions, communicate effectively, and network to establish valuable connections throughout the Westchester County physicians and community organizations. So my CHT and MBA degree and certification, I think they definitely helped me rise to who I am today in my career, and hopefully there's more to come.
I love it, Sally. I appreciate your tenacity. I'm also someone who's always like, what's next? What's next? What's next? And that's what the Be More Today show is all about. And you're in an interesting position because you have the clinical experience and now the business savvy to go out there and make some real changes. And you've seen our healthcare system. You see how it's been. You see where it's going. And you're an integral part of it now because you are treating. So with your vast experience now in terms of MBA and also healthcare administration, what are some ways that you think we can improve the healthcare system to enhance the clinician and the patient experience? Because as you know, sometimes it's tough, right? As clinicians, we're talking about, and I think a lot of new clinicians struggle with this, we're talking about billing and having to do billing for certain people and certain populations, but also looking at numbers, also trying to make sure we have good quality of care. And all those things have to be synonymous with every single day, every single modality, every single treatment style, every single healthcare bracket, right? We're all doing that, whether you're OT, PT, ATs, MDs, PAs, it's everywhere. So, what are some of your thoughts looking at the big picture of where the healthcare system is going and how we're a part of this? What are some things that you think we should be focusing on, or ways we can change the healthcare system to be better for us as clinicians and or better for the patient experience?
Wow, I feel like I need like 3 more hours to explain that. But besides having like superhero powers, excuse me, I feel like first, like really engaging the patient in their healthcare, like patient engagement will really lead to better outcomes. Educating them on what has or is happening to them and getting feedback from them. What do they like to do? What they don't like to do? Like what we discussed before, decisions on their own care and exercises they'll be doing in the therapy session, and really making goals. I always try to remember to say, what are your goals? What do you want me to help you with? Yeah, you want me to help your hand get better? Why? What is it that you want to do? Next, I mean, we really need to foster a positive work environment. A healthy culture amongst employees is key. Supporting staff engagement, professional development, minimizing burnout, which is really tough, but we have to do it, right? And administrative burdens, like you said, billing, note writing, all that, it has to get done, but we need to find ways to kind of minimize that. Employee satisfaction will produce more quality of care. It's not easy to hit all these points, but we have to start somewhere, right? We need to promote teamwork and collaborations throughout organizations. Healthcare agencies, stakeholders, even community organizations. We need to try to put the time to do that. It's a multifaceted approach, but the healthcare system is complex and it's dynamic. So we need to be ready to make a plan, execute that plan, and adjust accordingly to try and achieve the highest standards of quality and performance.
Listen, I
So we'll
appreciate
have to try to get that done.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to swallow, right?
Right.
But I do think, as we continue to grow, everything you said is spot on. All those things help, right? Having a better team ethic, having better quality of care for our patients, having better or more self-care. A lot of people are talking about now this not new, but the concept of having a 4-day work week, and how many people are like, yeah, I work 4 days. I do 4 10-hour days and then have the 3 days to kind of get back to my regular self, because we've seen it. We've seen people get burnt out. We've seen people not be able to pour from an empty cup. We've seen that a number of times. I know you probably experienced that yourself in life, as I have as well. So I think it's poignant for us as healthcare professionals to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves, because we can't cater to all of the 1,000 things people are telling us about what hurts and what's wrong and all these different things if we ourselves are just taking that in and just like harboring it. No, we have to be able to find our own personal outlets and have our own downtime and our own quality time and our own safe space and all those things. And I think the companies like Jag1 and others that do a good job of that have longer retention. They have healthcare programs that are better for their patients. They have patients who are happier. All those things are combined. So yeah, I think we have a way to go as a healthcare industry, but I'm grateful and thankful that people like you are in the managerial aspect of looking at it from the greater picture perspective, and hoping that, as we continue to move forward for the generations after us, that the system will get better for our patients and for clinicians as well. So, Sally, any final thoughts you want to share, as you are the closer? You're the closer for Occupational Therapy Month. So anything you want to share in terms of the greatness of the profession for those who are aspiring OTs who want to be either CHTs in the future, or anything you want to share about occupational therapy in general as we close out this month, highlighting the great things that you and others are doing around the world?
Well, I wanted to just say, continue to keep learning and always strive to deeper and grow. Never think you know everything, because things are always changing. Never be too proud to ask for help. Surround yourself with people who encourage and motivate you and are willing to help you when you need it. Learn from your fellow OTs, PTs, and speech therapists, because a different perspective will shine light on something you might not be able to see. Believe in yourself, be professional, and always treat your patients as an individual.
Awesome, Sally. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for being on the show today. You're closing out OT month with a bang, all the way from Jersey. And I wish you the best in all you're doing. And I hope to see you in person sometime soon.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem, Sally. And folks, she said so many poignant things today on this last show for Occupational Therapy Month, looking at the greater picture. Yes, pursuing the greater degrees, right? And not just settling for the main one, but going out there and learning more and bettering yourself every single day, and being able to listen and provide quality care for her patients. It's crucial, I think, that we as clinicians, no matter what area you're working in, or even if you're not in the healthcare field, but you have a sense of humanity, and being able to recognize that no matter what you do, no matter what you're doing into your job, or if you act with people or not, your job is to make sure that people can get better at what they're doing, and your perspective and your energy does matter. So another quote says, medicine adds days to life. Occupational therapy adds life to days. OTs around the world, stand up. We salute you. We appreciate you so much. And congrats on just doing what you've been doing, and continue to do so as you go out the rest of this year into the rest of this year. For those who you do not know, Jag1 PT is that place. If you're looking for PT, OT, ATs in your area, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, please go out there and follow us, jag1pt.com, for all of your healthcare needs. We are everywhere, and we're here to serve you guys and get you back to the life that you love. And for those of you who want to follow the Be More Today show, as always, again, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, Be More Today _show, or Be More Today _PT, and of course me, Dr. Sean Thomas, on all major platforms. And if you want to be a part of our groups on Strava and on Facebook, please do so as well. BeMoreToday.com. As I always say, folks, have a good day, have a good night, have a great life, and continue to take your steps to greatness to be the best version of you. We'll see you next week. Peace.